You deserved everything you got. This is a union city.
That is a Philadelphia tradition.
Seize the means of podcasting.
Oh, God, the boss has crushed us.
Let me tell you one thing else.
In oldie-timey times.
The pleasure of the flesh is in solidarity.
We will not raw dog reality for that one.
It's going to be wholly unprofessional.
The Scab Buster.
What have we become?
Eat together strong. Let that be your mantra.
Solidarity. Solidarity forever.
Unbeknownst to most people, the game of horseshoe used to be the official sport of Philadelphia. And one of the first major strikes in professional horseshoeing occurred in 1902.
Gabe, you underestimate my stupidity.
No, so this is people who put shoes on horses.
Mm-hmm.
I also want to start by putting out a PSA. The only reason I found out about this strike was because of the article database JSTOR, and I only have access to JSTOR because of the Free Library of Philadelphia. So if you are a resident of the city of Philadelphia and live within the city limits, you are eligible for a library card. And having fun is not hard when you have a library card.
Did you seriously reference Arthur in the first 2 minutes of this podcast?
I did.
Yo, that album was the bomb back in like 1999, man.
Yes. And we
Jekyll, Jekyll, hide, Jekyll, hide, Jekyll, Jekyll, Jekyll.
And then finding out that Charlie Kirk was a voice actor on Arthur.
Oh, yeah. There was somebody else who... It wasn't Charlie Kirk. It was, Oh, what's the other fucker's name? He was on Fox News, like Business Fox News or something like that.
Oh, I don't know.
I think you're wrong. I don't think it's Charlie Kirk. I think it's someone else who's in that circle.
Was it someone else?
I see his face, but I can't get his name.
All right. Well, we need to.
Well, who was Charlie Kirk playing?
I can't remember.
Because the guy I'm thinking about, he played the Brain. But he only played the Brain. He wasn't the original Brain. Like, he was like this.
Yeah.
He was the Brain in the later seasons or something.
I think that's who I'm thinking of. Then maybe I am wrong.
Ooh.
All
okay,
right.
well.
We'll look this up before the next episode.
Okay.
Or you'll look it up while I'm talking.
If I'm silent for the next half hour, and then I come in with, yeah, you're wrong.
Going deep into the Arthur lore.
Well, I mean, we just started out like losing all credibility.
Yep. So anyway, yeah. So, get a library card.
Magic Bus, Magic Bus. Was it Crazy Bus? It's Crazy Bus, Crazy Bus, Crazy Bus.
But
Magic Bus. I want to hear Roger Daltrey do Crazy Bus, Crazy Bus. Oh, you can. Gabe, continue the fuck on, please.
I've made a huge mistake. So I also want to throw out a caveat that I was only able to find one source talking about this. I was able to find like 2 or 3 newspaper articles referencing it, but they were short. So all of this information is only from one source, which means I can't verify anything.
This whole episode
so
has no credibility.
It doesn't have any credibility. Anyway.
How many times can we be wrong? Before we even start the story.
But it was written in the American Journal of Sociology.
Please.
From November 1902.
Okay. Sociologist wrote this. We're good.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's actually talk about what we're supposed to be talking about, or what I'm supposed to be talking about. I want to start by explaining how the horseshoeing trade worked, because it was... Even though it was 1902 and a lot of stuff was mechanized, horseshoeing still followed the old guild system.
Okay.
So you had the 3 normal classes of worker with master, journeyman, and apprentice. At this point, the master was usually a horseshoer who had basically just gotten enough money to set up to purchase his own shop and to set up his own business. At least from what I can tell, there weren't any, overall companies that owned a bunch of different horseshoeing shops. It was a bunch of, independent shops that employed people.
Okay.
So the masters would hire journeymen to work in their shop as trained labor, and then they would take on apprentices, both as students to teach them the trade, and then also basically free labor or very cheap labor.
Yes.
They also still had the apprentices, or a lot of times apprentices were still living with their masters. There were a number of advertisements I found of masters advertising that they were looking for an apprentice, and including that they would be living with them. So,
Okay.
yeah,
All right. That still exists. You know that, right?
You just have to look at the very back of the newspaper to find those.
Well, yes. These
Masters seeking
Subservient, a journeyman to, or journeywomen
Yeah.
to live with.
room and board paid for.
I thought those parts of Craigslist had gotten taken down, but perhaps not.
Sadly, you're true. But you got to know where to look, buddy. Well, that's what OnlyFans is for now.
Well, yeah.
And what's the one you swipe on? Tinder.
Yeah.
That's what Tinder's for.
I've been using it to start fires. Apparently, I've been doing it wrong.
We got to make like a Tinder profile and just have a picture of like an old timey horseshoer, you know?
Yeah. So, but then the masters had organized themselves into sort of a union. It was really a protective association.
Yes.
In fact, it was called.
It's okay for them to make a union.
Yeah. It was called the Master Horseshoers Protective Association, Local Number 23.
The MIHIP 23.
Yeah. I'm not even going to try that one. I guess MIHIP. MIHIP. So that was incorporated under PA law in 1893. And that kind of acted like the guilds that you used to have, especially in Europe. So they would set prices and kind of acted as a way to guarantee quality. So every master had a stamp that you would stamp every horseshoe with to show that it came from a union shop. And
Okay.
by union, I mean the masters union. And so
Hold a sneaky on you.
yeah. So then they would when someone brought in their horse to get reshoed, then if you saw that their shoes didn't have that stamp on it, then basically what they would do is either refuse to do the work, or they would refuse to do the work unless you let them reshoe the entire all four hooves.
Oh, okay.
So like if you came in for one replacement, they would be like, nope, we got to do the whole horse. I'm sorry. So it's like basically dealing with a shiesty mechanic.
I was about to say that.
Yeah,
You come in, they got your horse up. He's like, yeah, you see, this is where your problem is. This is where. Well, I just came up for a tune-up. Now you're gonna need all four hooves, and you're gonna need a oil change and a feed bag. We'll probably get back to you next Wednesday. You know.
Yeah. So then they also had some penalties built in for performing, or if members of the protective association did bad or did poor work, they would get fined by the association because they had a brand to uphold. Then it's also kind of interesting because their constitution specifically stated that they were forming this to return their trade back to its old social position.
All right.
So they wanted, they recognized that a shift towards capitalist production had, reduced the importance of the old, feudal guild system.
Yeah. So.
And they wanted to change that.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, they wanted to change. Okay.
They wanted to go back.
They go back.
Yeah, to the old feudal system.
Yeah.
It's just it was really interesting to see that even in 1902. So then that was the masters. Now you have the journeymen who were the ones actually doing all of the work.
Yeah.
They were further subdivided into 3 categories of work.
Oh, Jesus.
You had firemen, floormen, and firemen, floormen.
Sorry, was that 1 or was that 12?
That was 3.
That was 3 different ones. Okay.
Yeah. So the firemen were the ones like working at the forge, making horseshoes or shaping them to the foot or the horse's hoof. The floormen were the ones who were taking the horse in, taking the old shoes off, cleaning the hooves, getting everything prepared.
Okay.
And then firemen, floormen were journeymen that worked in smaller shops and were doing both jobs.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Really, there were 2 jobs, and then some guys did both of them. If you imagine a floorman is Al Bundy, that he's the one like fitting the shoes.
Okay.
A fireman would be like if Al Bundy had to make the shoes.
Okay.
And then a fireman floorman is Al Bundy greets the customer, sizes their foot, and then goes in the back and makes them a shoe.
Gabe, this is why we're such a good
comes back
team,
out.
man.
Yeah. Make it relatable.
To a TV show that went off the air 45 years ago.
Yeah. So the fireman, floorman would, that was typical in smaller shops. They earned like $3 a day, which is, I have that written down, about $100 a day in today's money. So it's
okay. All right.
Not terrible. Not great, but not terrible.
No.
Then floorman, if you were just doing a floorman's job, you were earning $275 a day, which is about $91.
Oh, okay.
In today's money.
All right.
Then if you were just a fireman, you were also earning about $3 a day. Okay. So you're like, you weren't making great money, but you were surviving.
Yes. And they should be lucky.
Yeah.
To be even surviving.
I should also specify that all of this is just in Philadelphia, because looking at newspaper ads from outside the city, they were making significantly less. So, yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that for the sake of our mental health.
Yeah. So then the journeymen were also organized into a union known as the Journeyman Horseshoers Union Local Number 6.
Okay.
So theoretically, the journeymen had an agreement with the masters that they would, the masters union shops would only employ unionized journeymen.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Theoretically. So
theoretically.
They were supposed to have a closed shop. That wasn't always the case. So they, some of the journeymen were debating whether or not they were going to create their own stamp, and basically use it the same way that the masters did.
Okay.
And that way they knew, oh, this is actually from a union shop.
Yeah. So
we'll work on this horse. Otherwise, we're, because we are the ones actually on the floor making decisions every day.
Making it.
Yeah. Then we can refuse to do the business.
Yeah. Well, their stamp doesn't say master stamp, though.
Yeah. So the masters found out about the journeymen wanting to make their own stamp, and that the masters got all worried about that. Because
stamp wars of 1902.
Yeah. Because that would basically render the master's stamp obsolete. And
interesting.
They all
development.
They got all worried.
What were unnecessary, unneeded? The rules have changed.
Yeah. So then, I should also point out that the Journeymen's Union represented about 90% of the journeyman horseshoers in the city at the time.
Okay.
So
that's mostly all of them, Gabe.
Yeah. So they did actually pose a fairly sizable threat to the masters. Okay, so now let's talk about the actual strike, which is what all of this was leading up to. So in May of 1902, the Journeyman's Local presented 2 sets of demands to the masters. They were divided into major and lesser demands.
Okay.
The major demands were they wanted a 9-hour workday, as well as half days on Saturdays in the summer months.
Oh, all right. All right.
And then in the winter months, they wanted to work only until 4 p.m. on Saturday.
Okay. It does get darker quicker in the winter, so
yes,
fair demand. Yes.
So they
Is there more?
yes, so they were willing to work later in the winter months because there was more work to do.
Oh yes, of course.
Because it was called sharping season.
Oh.
Or I think sharping times. I don't remember. But basically, you were installing spikes onto the horseshoes so that the horses could travel over ice. And
Yes.
that was apparently like constant work that needed to be done. So it was like putting on snow tires.
All right.
So they were willing to compromise and be like, yeah, we'll work later in the winter because there's more work to do.
Yeah.
So then the lesser demands where they wanted 50 cents an hour to be paid for all overtime work, which was anything over 9 hours.
All right.
And so it should be noted, because they were working, or they were getting paid by the day, if they were forced to work longer than their normal hours,
They wouldn't get paid for it.
yeah. So you end up getting paid less per hour if you work more. They also didn't want to have any overtime work during the hot months, which I'm assuming is like June, July, and August in Philly. They didn't specify. They just said the hot months.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I call it summer.
though, I mean, nowadays, like, January can be a hot month, so who knows?
to November is hot months.
Yeah. They also wanted one holiday every year as an outing day.
Okay.
So they,
all right. So a floating holiday for everyone just to get drunk.
yeah,
All
basically.
All right.
So all of these demands had already been granted to the journeyman horseshoers in other cities.
Yeah.
And so they figured, like, this is reasonable.
Yeah. Okay.
New York, Chicago, I think New York, Chicago, Boston, and Baltimore had all done this.
All right.
They sent these demands out to the 250 shops that were represented by the masters, or the 250 shops that they worked in. And all but 25 of them refused to accept the demands.
Okay. There were 250 horseshoeing shops in the city?
Yep.
Wow.
Well, again,
What a business.
If you think about it, it was basically like a mechanic. So.
Well, yeah. Sure. Yeah, definitely.
And there's one great picture of someone pushing or taking a horse-drawn cart out of the front door of a row home.
Okay. Okay.
I think it was in the 1890s. And it was just like you would go up to Market Street.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, it was Market Street at that point, and sell your wares.
Yeah.
So you needed a way to transport them.
Yeah.
You have a horse on the first floor, and that's just what you do.
I love the sound of like horseshoes, like on a cobblestone or a Belgian block, you know?
Yep.
That's a good sound.
Mm-hmm. That, actually, I hadn't thought about, like, it was actually probably difficult to have a conversation on Market Street.
Yeah, it was probably loud as fuck.
Yeah,
man.
the amount of horseshoes going around.
And the amount of people just out in the street, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know? But now everything's so quiet. Like electric cars, like they make no sound. It's like if I want to get hit by a 2-ton piece of plastic and steel, I want to at least know that it's coming before it hits me. You know what I mean?
True.
I don't like surprises like that.
Yeah, that's fair. Europe is actually, or there are some European countries that are making electric cars have to have like a little buzz or siren on them because they like that was a legitimate issue. They kept running into people.
They should just have Monty Python and the Holy Grail coconut
That's
sounds.
exactly it.
Come on, Betsy.
So anyway, in June of 1902, after all of the masters, or all but 25 of the masters' shops refused the demands, they went out on, or the journeymen went out on a general strike in the 225 shops that refused them. They were still working in the 25 shops that gave them their demands. Yeah. So then the Masters Union pressured those 25 shops to rescind their offer, and all but 3 of them did. So they went. There were now 247 shops on strike, 3 that were still open.
Okay.
And then the journeymen immediately got support from their international, the Teamsters, because especially this was when Teamsters were still leading teams of horses. Yeah. They needed horseshoes. The United Labor League and the American Federation of Labor. So they had good.
They had some backing.
Yeah,
they had a little bit of support.
Yeah. So basically, the entire horseshoeing industry in the city was on strike. And this is. So this is also where, like, the weirdness of this guild system comes in, where the masters were still trained tradesmen, so they could still do the work.
Yeah.
There just weren't physically enough of them to meet the demand. So, like, all of the shops were still open. It was just one master and maybe, like, 3 or 4 apprentices who were teenagers that didn't know how to do the work. And they were trying to still operate. Basically, while they didn't necessarily have to completely shut down, they basically had to tell like 99% of their customers.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. And especially if you were like operating a fleet of horses to transport goods regularly, at least from what I can tell, it sounds like you would have a pretty regular contract with one of these shops. So, like, every month or so, you would come in and get all of your horses reshoed. And then...
That wasn't happening now.
Yeah. Which then, like, shuts down the whole city.
Yeah, that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah. So then, about a week into the strike, the masters tried to bring on new journeymen, but that failed for 2 reasons. One, they didn't want to hire unskilled workers. So they didn't want to hire people that like hadn't fully completed their apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Because they needed people to do all of this fairly complicated work.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what you're doing around a horse's hoof, you can really screw it up.
Definitely.
Oh, and then the other side of it was whenever they hired like actually trained journeymen, the journeymen's union would come in and just be like, hey, do you want higher wages? Great. You should come out on strike with us, and then you're going to get higher wages.
So there's scabs that scabbed in the scabbers.
Yeah.
Who scabbed in the scabs.
Exactly. So actually during the strike, the journeymen's union grew by 150 members because they just kept organizing everybody, or all the scabs. So then the masters also faced an internal issue that some of their members were willing to concede to the strikers. So you had some shops that were supposedly, there was some debate on this in the newspapers.
In newspapers, plural, Gabe?
Yes.
Okay.
There were a couple. The
one paragraph that you got this whole episode from.
Yeah. Well, I found like 3 separate newspaper mentions of the strike in, I think, 2 different papers. One basically was saying the journeymen came out and said that 100 shops had agreed to their demands.
Okay.
Then the next one was the masters putting out a response being like, hey, no, that didn't happen. And then the final one was from a different newspaper, and it basically was just like, the strike's over. Okay.
When do we start reference Twitter posts on this podcast?
Oh, God. Some of the masters were willing to concede, but they were able to maintain their the set rates that the Masters Guild or the Masters Union had set. So that showed that you could still turn a profit and pay these guys what they were asking for.
Strange. I don't get it.
It's funny how that keeps happening.
I don't got business degrees, but this is all just like strange to me.
Yeah. So then the other problem is that a lot of the masters were actually breaking their own rules because they had like this set list of prices that you had to follow to be part of their protective association.
Okay.
But then what they would do is offer rebates to customers.
All right.
So they were actually charging less than the rates that were set by their protective
fellow
association.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, they didn't want to, or the guys that were the masters that were doing that didn't want to concede to the strikers because they knew they couldn't make a profit and offer the rebates. So they were going to have to go to their customers and be like, hey, you know that deal that I wasn't supposed to be offering you for the past year? I can't do that anymore. But the other side of it is if all of the masters just conceded all at once, then they could basically just follow the actual set rate that they were supposed to be charging.
But shouldn't we be looking after the Masters Union too? Shouldn't we have, it is a union game.
It is a union. Alternatively, they could just make slightly less profit. Which I know it's troubling.
But how else would they be able to take a joyride into space, Gabe? How else would they take a joyride into space?
I wonder if any of these guys were actually alive to see the space race. It's possible. They would have been real freaking old. The strike really only lasted for like 2-ish weeks. A little bit over 2 weeks. So the Masters came to the negotiating table on June 15th.
Okay.
They offered the strikers a 10-hour days.
10-hour days. They wanted 9-hour days, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
They agreed to end the workday at 1 p.m. on Saturday from June to September, and 4 p.m. the rest of the year.
Okay.
They offered pro rata pay for overtime, which means you would get basically the same hourly rate that you got the rest of the day. So,
okay, yeah.
But that would mean if you were working a 9-hour day for $3, then never mind. My math went out the window.
I saw it in your eyes.
Yeah, I was like,
your calculations were just like, I can spell boobies on this.
Yes. Yeah.
So it wasn't exactly what they wanted for that one.
They were willing to concede on paying people for their overtime work.
They're at least getting something.
Yeah. And they agreed to an annual holiday.
Ooh.
So that's very forward thinking and progressive.
Wow, they get a holiday.
Yeah. The journeyman rejected this wholesale. And said,
God damn it, guys.
and basically said, we're not backing down until we get a 9-hour day.
All right.
But
really, no one works in the last hour of their day anyway.
It's
You
true.
know what I mean?
So then the masters went back and talked amongst themselves and decided on a further compromise that they would agree to all of the demands of the union. But none of that would come into effect until August 1st because, as they argued, one, they had a 2-week backlog that they now had to fill.
Oh, yeah.
Then they also had to basically negotiate new pricing with all of their customers.
Yeah.
Because they had been effectively undercharging for everything so that they could outcompete each other. They offered that to the journeyman. The journeyman said, okay, but you can, or we'll do it on July 15th.
All
So they
right.
gave them a month.
Okay.
Because this is probably June 16th at this point. Because there's a day into negotiations.
Okay.
So they argued that that's more than enough time to fill the backlog and alert their customers to the new pricing. The masters couldn't decide on how to respond to that, so they left it up to each individual shop.
Oh, God damn it, guys.
So that basically meant that all of the larger shops that had like hundreds of horses to shoe,
Yeah.
and then the 25 shops that had already wanted to give in to the workers anyway, immediately agreed to the terms.
Yeah.
And then basically only, or by like the actual time when they were supposed to switch over to the new schedule, only the most like diehard anti-union masters were still refusing to give in, and their workers were still on strike. So they just decided that they didn't care about all of the profits they were losing. They just wanted to screw the workers at that point.
Okay. Fair.
I mean, it's
come on, guys.
what's the line? It's a weird hill to die on, but
Yeah.
at least you're dead. Yeah. So then eventually they realized, like, oh yeah, we need workers to do this work, so maybe we should
money.
do that.
I like that.
So then, in the end, the journeyman won, and the masters union basically fell apart because they realized that they had no way to enforce any of the rules that they set. And it's also like, because the masters, even though they had this protective association, they were still competing with each other
Yeah,
the whole time.
I don't know where the
So,
protection
yeah,
was coming from.
yeah. It was
Their protection from gaining any more money.
Yeah. So basically, the Journeyman's Union won and survived, and the Masters Union all fell apart.
All right, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Fuck, Jesus God.
But, yeah, I found this just scrolling through JSTOR, and I'll pull back the curtain a little bit and let the viewers know my arduous research process.
You sure you want to do this game?
I do. I go onto JSTOR.
I get naked, sit in a bathtub, light some candles.
I go onto JSTOR and do a search for the words strike and Philadelphia, and then just scroll through the results.
Gabe, they found the formula.
I know.
The secret formula.
And this one caught my eye because horseshoers. Oh, also
Because
I should say,
horseshoers.
because horseshoers.
You're a different breed, Gabe. You're a Clydesdale.
Hey!
Or should I say, nay?
No.
I'll stop horsing around.
Anyway, I also just want to say, I know some people are going to, for some reason, be upset that I'm saying horseshoer rather than farrier. However,
Well, I like to refer to them as cobblers for horses.
everyone's a cobbler. But peach or cherry?
What?
Peach or cherry cobbler?
Oh, Gabe. You said that like it was one word. Peach or cherry. Like I thought that was like someone who
He was a cobbler.
Oh, okay. Part-time peach or cherry.
Yep. But yeah, so they called themselves horseshoers. So
Okay.
you're wrong if you think they were called farriers. So yeah, now that I've pissed off everyone who would be interested in this episode.
Mm-hmm. Gabe.
Anyway.
End the episode, Gabe.
Hey, this is Gabe, and thanks for listening to the Labor John podcast. So for now, we live in a system called capitalism. And under this system, you have to exchange currency for goods and or services. And to that end, Sam and I put a lot of time, effort, and a fair chunk of our own money into keeping this podcast available and generally free. And if you'd like to help support us doing that, you can give us some money at patreon.com/LaborJohn. And if you choose to do so, we'll give you a fancy button every year, some cool merch, and an extra episode once a month, whenever possible, because life is hard, because capitalism. Anyway, we'd really appreciate your support if you've got a few bucks to spare. Also, if you happen to be a member of a union, and you want your fellow union members to learn about local labor history, we do commission work, like presentations, pamphlets, that kind of stuff. So if that sounds cool, you can shoot us an email at laborjohn@gmail.com, or contact us through laborjohn.com, or message us on social media, or whatever's most convenient for you. But if that sounds interesting, feel free to reach out. And anyway, thanks for listening. Solidarity. Have fun.